And then I'm going to share my screen. And I'm sorry I'm sharing it this way, but it enables me to actually be able to see the chat and things like that if I share it, if I actually put it in, if I put it in the mode where, like presentation mode, then I can't see anybody. So hold on just one second, let me make sure I can see your chats. There we go.
I
Okay,
can monitor it too, Amanda.
thank you, thank you, thank you.
Hmm.
All right, welcome everyone. I think, we've had several meetings leading up to this year, but I think this is our first office hours meeting of the year, and so I'm excited to see everyone here. Hopefully more will continue to come in and join us. Lots of new information to share. Obviously today, lots of changes occurring in our program. So let's get started. So just want to go over with you who our staff is right now. Because as you are all made aware this week, we are no longer going to be partnering with TPI to provide support for specialists. We just decided to go in a different direction. And we are in the process of finalizing MOU or MOA with the University of South Alabama. They're going to be our new partners. And of course, it's going to take some definite getting used to. Hopefully we'll hire some people who are experienced with after school programming and 21st century, or they'll hire people who are. Hopefully we'll have a say in that. But I'm sure there's going to be a time period where they're going to have to, it's going to take some time for them to get staff in place, and it's going to take some time for those staff to be trained. And so I just want to start today's meeting by saying, please give us some grace and patience as we go through these next few months, because it's probably going to be it's going to be definitely a time of transition, and it's going to take some getting used to for all of us. So I'm not going to read these to you right now. We are still going to be working with Troy University as our state external evaluator. Also have to renew their contract as well. It just so happened that everything is falling at the same time, but we do intend to continue with them. But we're going to totally look at evaluation in a different way. We're going to talk about that in a slide coming up soon. But let me just reiterate, I sent this, I'm sorry about the extremely long email yesterday, but there was a lot to talk about. And so I just want to reiterate the points of contact now for if you have questions or need some technical assistance or support or just whatever. This is kind of your points of contact. So your first line of defense is to reach out to either your TAs or your ALSDE assigned specialist. I sent out an attachment yesterday along with that email that had your assigned TA and specialist on there. So hopefully everybody got that email. And I'm really bad about going off on tangents, but I will say this as far as emails, we used the email list or the contact list that we downloaded from our Teams folder with TPI before the end of our partnership. And I think some of the emails that we have are incorrect. I think we're missing a lot. And so if you're not getting emails, please reach out to us and let us know. Or if you see that maybe you've got newer site directors who aren't on our email list, or not site coordinators that are not on our email list, or anybody else that needs to be added that may have not received my email yesterday, let us know. There was also probably about, I would say, 35 to 40 emails that bounced back. Some of them may be that people are no longer employed with that school or that program, but a lot of them were just typos that I was able to find and correct today when I got the report back of what all bounced back. So hopefully you'll start getting, for those of you that was the case, hopefully you'll start getting emails from this point forward. But your first line of defense is reaching out to your ALSDE specialist if you have questions regarding things like your EGAP application, ES2s or any kind of
Amanda, I don't know if it's just me, but I can't hear you.
Screen's froze up. She went away.
Okay.
Yeah, it's frozen. Now she's completely gone, I think.
Text. My computer just shut down. I'm trying to get back on. Well, Melissa, would you like to improvise?
Absolutely not.
How's everybody doing? Starting out.
Hi, Karen.
Doing good.
Hi, Megan.
It's so good to see faces.
I know. We never get to see anybody.
I know. We're hoping that we're going to get to this
I
year.
know. Hey, Adrian. Hi, Jennifer.
We're excited that Adrian has joined us. I see Joe.
Hi, Miss Gavan.
Hey,
Or should
how
I call
you
you? Or should I call you Miss ES2?
doing?
The ES2
Well, hey, that
guru.
work. You know I be needing it. You know I be needing it.
Perfect.
But I appreciate you because you're just one of a kind, girl. You be whipping them in and out. So I thank you.
Anytime. Hey, Chris. Hey, Miss Williams. Yeah, I'll just be the welcome committee.
There you go.
Hey, Lindsay.
Jennifer Baker, did y'all figure that out? What you were?
She
I'm
made
back.
that call and had to leave a message. He
Okay.
didn't answer, so hopefully we'll get some more guidance on it soon.
Okay, good.
Thank you for that.
Sure. Oh, I see Amanda.
Hey, well, I'm sorry, y'all. My computer just went error and then just completely shut down. That was scary.
That's okay. Melissa
Thank
and I
God I
totally
saved the
took it.
presentation. Hold on, just give me a second to find it. And we'll get back started. I apologize, everyone.
Real quick, if
See.
you have come in before the shutdown, make sure your name is
Hey,
in the chat.
it.
That right there is my life. That's my life this week.
It is. Bless
Perfect.
Amanda.
That is funny.
Okay, hold on. I gotta stop talking to find what I'm doing. Okay, hold on. It's probably because I had 7,000 screens open on my computer and it said no more. Okay. Oh, thank God. For a minute, I thought I couldn't find the thing. Okay. All right. Okay, we're still recording. Oh, awesome. Okay. All right. Y'all can't see my screen anymore though, right?
No.
Okay. All right, let's try this again. Oh, that's the wrong one. Dang it. How in the world did I do that? Hold on. Oh, wait, here we go. Okay. Calm down. All right. Let's get back started. So sorry about that, everyone. All right, now I have to talk even faster. Okay. Because I don't want to keep everybody all day. All right. So anyway, back to where I was. If you have questions about EGAP applications, financials, easy reports, external evaluators, or issues with your external evaluators, asking what questions, like what is allowable, what's not, then you're going to reach out to your A-list DE specialist. I'm sure there's other things that could be added to this list, but those are the things I could think of when I type this. And then your technical assistant is going to be your go-to for questions regarding any of your programming, like lesson plans, coming up with ideas for parent-family engagement activities, handbooks, safety plans, inventory. Those are going to be your go-to for that sort of thing. But really, you could reach out to either one of them if you have any questions at all. They should be your first line of defense or first person you go to if you have a question. I love answering you guys' questions. I try as best I can, but I literally probably get 250 emails a day, and I'm really scared that I'm not going to see your questions. And then I've just got a lot on my plate right now. And it's hard for me to sit down and give you a good, thoughtful answer sometimes. And if you reach out to your specialist, if they don't know the answer, then we will discuss it as a team. We'll come up with an answer together, and then we all learn together. So, and it's also actually reaching out to them. It's also going to give you the chance to kind of develop a relationship with them, which would be, great for everyone. We do plan, I didn't put this in the presentation, but we do hope to start coming out and visiting you guys this year as well. We've been encouraged to do that. We're just trying to figure out exactly what that's going to look like. And right now it's like I said earlier, everything is kind of falling in our laps at one time. And so, but we'll hopefully we'll be able to start doing that as soon as possible. And then, of course, if you reach out to your specialist or TA and you don't get a response, then you're welcome to reach out to me, and I will make sure that we get an answer to you about any questions that you have. Okay, so just wanted to first go over kind of some upcoming things that are happening. Keep in mind, okay, so we are doing a continuation application training on October 7th, which is next week. And really, this is going to be for cohort 17. It says 25 summer also, but we're probably going to postpone that because we still have to build. That's another thing on the plate. We still have to build the continuation application for cohort 25 and 26, and that's going to take some time to do. And so we'll probably do just a special training for cohort 25 once that is built in EGAP. So that will probably push down the line. I started to delete it, but I did want to address it because it was in your timeline. But all the meetings will be at this link, and that way we can record them and keep them ourselves. And then just make sure your program directors make sure that you have flagged all of your students in Easy Reports by October 15th. And then you should be checking monthly to make sure that as new kids come into your program, that they are being flagged in Easy Reports. We're going to talk more about some exciting things coming with Easy Reports soon that hopefully will encourage you to get that done as quickly as possible. Hopefully there's some really good things coming that's going to take some burden off of you guys. All right, data managers, make sure that you are putting in your September attendance is completed by October 15th. We are going to be going in and checking to make sure that attendance is being entered on a monthly basis. But really, hopefully you guys are doing it on a daily basis or a weekly basis at most. Because from what I've never done your job, but from what it sounds like to me, from what I've been told, it's when you put it off and put it off and put it off, entering it into Easy Reports is when you get bogged down and then mistakes happen. And sometimes either the data doesn't get put in or it gets put in like quickly, like, oh yeah, everybody was there that day. And it's not really the truth. We want to make sure that we're being as truthful as possible with our federal reporting. Okay, so please make sure that you are doing that. Also, ES2s for your fiscal managers, those need to be submitted by October 31st. So any expenses that actually that really will just apply to, cohort 17. Actually, yeah. That actually applies to FY25 funds because your FY26 funds just started, right? So it would apply to your FY25, and then like pre-award costs, if you got those, then you would need to submit those ES2s as quickly as possible. Okay, Cynthia, I think I have a wrong email for you. I think that's the deal with you because I know your name was on the list, but I think it's incorrect. So if you'll give us your correct email address, then we will get that to you, or we'll get you added to the list. Okay, what else? Your FY25 FER needs to be completed by October 31st, if possible. I think that our accounting system gives you a slightly bit longer time, like sometime mid-November to have that in, but I don't know what that date is exactly. I think it kind of changes from year to year, but please understand that you have this last month and a half or so to get all of your expenditures in from FY25. And then after that, that's it. You don't get any more reimbursements. And so those of you who are behind on your ES2s, you've got to get those in as quickly as possible, or you're risking not getting reimbursement. And once we get it to the point where the account staff here at the State Department shut that down, there's nothing we can do to help you. So please make sure that you are getting those in quickly. Okay. Also for your data managers, they need to be checking their easy reports for accuracy and completeness. Outcome data right now is not super important. We don't have to report that to the feds until I think closer to it's after the new year. I think it's around April or March or April, something somewhere around there. What we're about to report now is last year's data on activities, attendance, and staffing, I believe, are the three things. And so please go into your easy reports and make sure that your data on that is complete. And speaking of easy reports, we don't really know a whole lot about easy reports here at the State Department, but we're learning. We are watching videos. We have a meeting with them tomorrow to set up a crash course training on state or grantee level easy reports so that we can help you. So I understand that you don't have TPI to reach out to about that anymore, but reach out to us and we will harass easy reports if we have to get the answer, but we will make sure that you get the support that you need to do what you need to do. Just again, patience and grace would be very much appreciated as we take on that role of learning about easy reports. Okay, a few more things. External evaluators, please submit. Okay, so this needs to be changed. I should have deleted that. Whoops. Okay, so anything that we ask you to submit or that says something about submitting to TPI because it's old information, please send that for now to the 21st Century email address, which is, I gotta think about it. I think it's 21st CCLC grant at alsde.edu. Okay, well, and then it goes crazy. But I will send you this presentation and you'll have that link. Please send those no later than October 31st. If you've already sent them in, I don't know how many external evaluators we have in today's meeting, but I'm going to meet with them very soon too. But if you've already submitted it to that link or to TPI, we probably don't have it and probably will not be able to get it. So if you will please send it to that email address, your conflict of interest forms, then we would greatly appreciate it because, again, we don't have access to a lot of the things that TPI collected for us. All right. And then we will be having an external evaluator mandatory training. On your timeline, it said early October, but we're going to have to push that back to late October because we have some changes coming and the way we're going to be doing evaluation. So I don't want to get ahead of myself, but that's coming soon. We're going to talk about that in one of the slides coming up. But probably we'll have 2 different external evaluator trainings because I think with cohort 17, evaluation is going to stay the way it's been for the past couple of years. We're not going to really make any changes because there's really no point to do that in the last year of their grant. But for cohort 25 and 26, it's going to look different in the future. So probably will be 2 different trainings. And as soon as we can get that worked out and get that scheduled, then we'll make sure to send those dates out. And for the cohort 25 and 26 one, we would highly encourage the program directors to come to that too, because you need to hear the message as well of what those changes are going to be so that you'll know what to expect from your external evaluator. Okay. So all I'm going to say on that for now, but we'll talk more about it in just a minute. Suggested activities coming up. So cohort 17, and actually that should say, and cohort 26, please get your, okay, so cohort 17, please get your continuation applications. You can go ahead and start working on those. I don't know if everybody's noticed, but your allocation has been uploaded and the application is available to you to start working on. Now, if you want to wait until after our training next week, I'm all for that. We're just going to kind of go over some of the ways that things need to be written in, especially like in your budget narratives, so that you can get your application approved the first time. Last year, you know, we were kind of building the plane while we were flying it. You know, we let at the beginning when I was still learning and we were all still learning, we probably allowed some things to go through that had been done the way they'd always been done before, but were not necessarily the way the feds would want us to do it. And so we got pickier and pickier on the way that certain things need to be written. And so we just want to kind of go over those things with everyone so that you guys can get your applications approved on that the first time you submit it, or at least within the first couple of times you submit it. Nobody's perfect, and we almost always find something wrong with an application. There's nothing wrong with that. And then don't forget, we have ACA conference coming up on November 17th and 19th. We're now in FY26, and so you can go ahead and register and pay for the conference with FY26 funds. Cohort 17, it was part of your RFA, required for your program director and site coordinator to attend that conference, and so you have to be there. And then, of course, any of your direct service staff, if you have the funding to send them, then you are welcome to do so and encouraged to do so, because really this year's conference is going, thank you, Lindsay, just put the link for the conference in the chat for you guys. We are really focusing on best practices and after school programs, which would probably apply more to your direct service staff, the staff that actually works directly with the kids, then it may necessarily apply to you. There may be some things for administrative staff. There are definitely will be things for administrative staff that's important. But again, instead of it being all about how 21st century is supposed to run and all of the mandates and that kind of thing, we're really going to focus on what does really good after school programming look like, or summer programming look like, and what are best practices. So that we can just continue to work on making our programs better and better. Okay, and then of course, cohort 25 and 26, we've been encouraging you guys to send your staff, we've been encouraging you guys to send your staff, as many of your staff as you can afford to do so. If you do choose to do that, if you have enough staff that's going to the conference that you don't have enough people to take care of the kids after school, you can close your after school program for those 3 days. Just make sure that you have given plenty of notice to the parents so that they can find somewhere else for their kids to go after school. Okay, so is there agenda available for ACA conference? I know that I believe, I don't know, is there an agenda? Lindsay, can you unmute yourself and speak to that real quick?
Yes, I'm trying to find the start time, but we will start Monday morning. So I think it's like maybe 9 a.m. Monday morning.
Okay, yeah. All right. Okay, so here's some new information program updates that I hope some of you will be happy about. We've had several sites reach out to us and ask for more flexibility in your EGAP applications regarding contracts and MOUs. Okay, so as you know, what we've said in the past is if you're having purchase services, or what we started saying probably about halfway through last year, when we realized that this is something that we needed to be really looking at, was if you're paying someone to come and provide services for your 21st century program, then most likely you need to do a contract with that person if there's an exchange of funds. And sometimes there would be exchange of funds and an MOU is required. So I have a whole, well, I was about to say I have a whole nother video you can watch about that, but whether you can access that video is questionable right now. We may have to re-record that one. But we as the State Department, as the pass-through agency for this grant, it is our responsibility to
Amanda, we can't hear you.
thank you. I was trying to mute everybody else, but I muted myself. Lovely. And what I was saying was, okay. So it is a federal mandate that as the pass-through agency, we are supposed to look at your contracts and MOUs to make sure that they have all of the required federal provisions and that they are detailed and that that they actually spell out the exact services that is supposed to be being provided, and that you have like a salary schedule in there. You have the exact amount that you plan to pay, like an hourly rate. Hourly rate, and then the total amount that the contract can't go over. Things like that are supposed to be in every federal contract. And because these are federal dollars that you're using, it's considered a federal contract. So we're supposed to look at that. And so that's why we really started focusing on that more and more. But there has been many people that's reached out and said, hey, this is causing us some strife, because in our school system, we're not allowed to do revisions very often. And so if we want to hire somebody towards the middle of the year or something like that, then we don't have the ability to do that, because we can't upload a contract and get it approved in EGAP, because our system won't allow us to do multiple revisions to our EGAP applications. And so we've listened to you guys and try to come up with a solution for this. So this is the solution, and hopefully you guys will be okay with it. It still may not be as flexible as you would like it to be, but we'll just see. If as we get better at these contracts, then maybe we can become a little bit more and more flexible. But until we see that everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing, we kind of still have to continue to monitor it closely. So this is what you'll do. So if your application's been approved and you want to hire somebody to provide some sort of purchase service, you want to bring, let's say you decide your kids have shown an interest in art and you want to bring in an artist to come and help provide art activities for your students, and you've already got an approved contract and your system won't let you do another EGAP revision anytime soon. Well, this is what you can do. You can go ahead and create that contract with that artist, and then email it to your ALSDE specialist for them to review and make sure that it has all the details that it's supposed to have in it, and make sure that it is a reasonable service. And when I say by reasonable, is that you're paying that person a reasonable amount of money for the service that they're provided, and not going above and beyond, or not paying them way above what that person should be paid for the work that they're doing. And so once that's approved, then at that point, once we've said, yes, this is fine, and we've given you written approval for you to go forward with that contract, then we just ask that you upload the contract into your into EGAP under the LEA document library. Everybody can access that at any time of the year without having to do a revision. So you'll upload that. And if I were you, I also would upload like the confirmation email that it was approved. You'll upload that, create a comment in EGAP stating that your MOU or your contract was approved by whoever your specialist is on whatever date they approved it, and that it's uploaded in the document library, so that we have that documentation that you did get that approval. And then whenever the time comes that you're able to do an EGAP revision, which almost everybody, all LEAs will do a revision sometimes towards the end of the year, that at that time you can move the funds from materials and supplies to the purchase services and put that service in there. And then again, I would advise you just to kind of give us like a reminder comment don't forget, you approved this on this date and the contract is in the LEA document library. And then you can, hire people much earlier. Again, we still need to review it and approve it before you actually start the services. Now, can you start services without us looking at it? Absolutely, you can. Is that risky? Absolutely, that's extremely risky. If you contract with someone without us reviewing it first and approving it, when the time comes that we do have to review and approve it, if we don't agree that the services were reasonable or necessary, then you are risking us not refunding your funds. Okay, this just happened to a site last week where they were expecting to get almost 30,000 and only approved maybe 5 to 10 of that to actually be paid out, because there was a lot of things that they were providing that were not allowable. So, so please go through the steps of getting those contracts approved before you start any services. Hopefully this flexibility will help out a little bit and not hinder you from hiring extra people to come in and work with your kids just because your LEA doesn't want you doing revisions. Okay, the next update, happy to say that the teacher-student ratio forms that you've been supposed to do and that you've been asked to do in the past, we are no longer going to require those. Number one, I really don't see the point of it. It's just extra work for you to do. We have your TAs when they go out. When your TAs go out, that's one of the things that they are supposed to look at. And so I feel like that is enough. Now, if your TA goes out and sees that there's an issue with your student-teacher ratio, and what I mean by that is either you don't have nearly enough staff that you should have for the number of kids you're serving, or the other way around. Let's say you've got 10 kids and you've got 10 teachers that you're paying to be there with those 10 kids. That doesn't make sense either. And so if they go out, or if our staff goes out and sees that that's occurring, then we might say, okay, we want to see your student teacher. We might make you start doing the form then, but it's going to be on a case-by-case basis, and it's only going to occur when we see that there might be a problem. So hopefully that will help. Here's another thing, program amendments. In the past, you had to fill out an amendment form to get it approved. And then if it was approved, then you had to put that amendment into EGAP. And what I mean by program amendments is, I mean any kind of major changes you need to make to your program, or not major, it could be minor, well, not probably medium-sized changes, but let's just say some of the ones I saw this past year were two schools merging together, and one of the schools being shut down. And so now the kids that actually got the grant for 21st Century are technically going to a different school, or it's called a different name or something like that. Those are things that we need to know about, and that is a program amendment. So just like before, we don't want to make you do the same thing twice. It just doesn't make sense for you to do that. And so if you have the ability to do as many EGAP revisions as you want, then we would just suggest that you do your amendment in the EGAP revision. You go into EGAP, start a revision, make the changes in your application details, and then submit it, and we will review it there and either approve it or tell you it needs to be revised, or whatever the situation is. There's no reason for you to do a document and do EGAP. However, if you're one of those sites who has issues, you can't do revisions, EGAP revisions very often, or you can't do one until the end of the year, but you need to request a program change in the middle of the year, then you can still use the form, get it approved, and it's going to work kind of the same way as the MOUs and the contracts. You'll submit it to your ALSD specialist. They'll review it. If they approve it and say you're good to go, then you'll upload it into your LEA document library, put a comment into, the comment box saying that this program change was approved on blah, blah, blah. And then when it comes time for you to do a revision, then you'll make the changes to your EGAP, to your actual EGAP application and EGAP. Okay, so I would love to hear, we don't have time to talk because of our little shutdown situation that happened, but you can put things in the chat, or if you think of things, other ways that we can make your job easier, other documents that we ask you to do that are redundant that we need to consider getting rid of, feel free to put that in the chat or email your ALSE specialist with ideas of things that ways that we can streamline your processes and get rid of some of the double work that we ask you guys to do when it comes to forms. Are looking at lesson plans and versus instead of doing a lesson plan, maybe doing a oh gosh, I hate it when my brain just shuts down. Melissa, help me out. Or
Unit.
Kelly. Unit plan. Thank you. We might go towards more in a direction of you doing a unit plan instead of having to do daily lesson plans. Things like that are things that we're considering. So anything else that you can think of that you feel like is a process we ask you to do that either you don't feel like we actually even look at it, or you feel like we've asked you to do the same thing over and over again, please reach out and let us know about those so that we can take those into consideration and try to cut out things where we can. All right, other program updates. All right, so the website. Some of you may or may not have noticed the old website is there, but if you try to click on anything, if you try to go to find documents or anything like that, they've all been removed. They've been deleted or made not accessible to anyone. And so, so we are creating a new website. The website was property of TPI instead of the LSDE. And so we now have we never had control over what went on the website really, but we don't have access to those things anymore. So we're in the process of creating a new website. Now, the one we're creating right now, I think it looks pretty good considering how quickly it's been thrown together, but it is still being developed. Kelly's been working on it. She's great with that kind of thing. And it is kind of a temporary website. Part of our contract with USA is for them to help us develop a new website, but we will own it. We will figure out a way where we own it so that, this kind of thing doesn't happen again. But they're going to help us, create something that looks very professional. Not that this one doesn't, it looks great, but it definitely, we definitely could continue to add to it and make it better and better. So here's a link to that. Of course, we will email this link out to everyone. Again, we'll probably have to purchase a, what is it called?
Domain.
You know what I'm talking about, huh?
A domain.
A domain, thank you. A domain so that we just have like a .com or something, an easy name for you to remember for the website. But right now it's a little bit long, but it's just a free Wix website. So I'm sorry for the inconvenience of that, but we're just doing the best we can with what we've got right this minute.
Can I say
Okay,
something,
so
Amanda?
yeah, go ahead,
If
Kelly.
if y'all think of anything that you absolutely use from the other website and you want me to upload it, please send me an email and I can get that done for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Or any other link that you might need.
Yeah. So a lot of the stuff you're going to need is right now that we could think of is under forms and requests. We have made the field trip approval form an online form now instead of it being, or Kelly did that too, instead of it being a paper document that you submit. And we are going to start, this is a change. We haven't even told our TAs this yet, but I'm sure they won't mind. But we're going to start approving your field trips at the ALSDE level. The reason why is because we do your EGAP applications. And so sometimes when you have field trips in there, we don't know whether the field trip was approved or not approved when you submitted it. And then we have to go like digging for the approval form and see what it said and how much, it's just a big pain. And so we just feel like it would actually be easier on us if we were the ones that did the field trip approvals. We're also kind of considering opening up some more dates that you could submit field trip approvals, because again, I know there's like specific dates that you have to submit them by, but I don't know why those dates were set and why we did it that way. We just been doing it because it's the way it's always been done. And so I do see the point of not just making it open where you could submit it at any time, because that could get overwhelming, but we may just add some additional dates that you could submit some field trip approvals. Oh yeah, I can do that. Hold on a second. Sorry, somebody asked for me to put the link in the chat. Let me do that really quick. All right, so that is the new website. I just put it into the chat so you can look that over. Okay, we also have an online request to purchase items over $5,000. Oh, and I should have put this on the list. I don't think we're going to ask you guys to do the $10,000 one form anymore, even though we just redid it. But it's just not one of those things that the federal government asks us to do. And so I feel like we really probably shouldn't be doing it. So we redid the form because it's a form that you've always done. But and we updated it. But as I was actually even helping to update it, I was like, why do we make them do this? So I've done my research. It's not something that we have to ask you to do. We expect you to follow your local procurement rules, and that's really on you if you don't. And so we're not going to require that $10,000 purchase form any longer. Okay, so and I'll put that in here as well somewhere. Your MOU and contract templates are on the website as well. Please use those if at all possible, because I keep seeing contracts come through that look really great. It's probably your LEA. Some of them have been like LEA contracts, but they still don't have the required federal provisions. I don't know why they don't, but they don't. And so I hate to have to send something back and make you have to go get a new signature on something because it's missing required federal wording. So if your system has some problem with you using the templates, at least go pull a template and compare the two and make sure that that wording is in there so that we don't have issues. Okay, can all of the monthly submissions be added as a link for submission on the website? Okay, so for documentation, I don't know that we're going to do that through the website, but I am pushing for us to purchase a program that will be, I think it's kind of like Qualtrics was for TPI, but it's something different. It's like a monitoring system. It's not very expensive. It would be a good place for us to collect things and us to have access to everything here at the ALSDE. And so it may take some time. For now, until we can get something set up, we can submit things to that 21st Century email address. And then as soon as we get something else set up, whether it's a Teams folder for you to or not necessarily Teams, but like a Google folder for you to upload to, or whatever it is, or if I can get this program purchased for us, I think that would be the best way to go. Until that time comes, just send things to that email address unless we tell you otherwise. Sometimes we set up like a Google form where you can submit something through that. So it just depends on the situation. But speaking of parent orientation documentation, again, if you submitted things to one of the TAs that recently left because they worked with TPI, then some of them I think were forwarded to the other TAs. Some things were forwarded to me, but I don't know that everything was. And so we're not going to ask that you resubmit it yet, but just be expecting if you're new, and really they're not your new TA. You were supposed to have 2 TAs anyway, so you're really supposed to be working with both the TPI person and the ALSDE person already anyway. But if they reach out to you and ask you to resubmit some documents, then again, we're asking for patience and grace because again, we don't have access to those things anymore. And it doesn't look like we will have access to those things. Okay, so that next question is my next thing. So I'm just going to be honest, I spent probably 3 hours last week moving creating a new YouTube channel and creating playlists from the old YouTube channel so that you guys would still have access to all the videos. And then today when I went to go get the link to it to send to Kelly to put in the website and for me to put in this presentation, I realized that now all of our videos are had been set to private and you can't see them. So right now we don't have access to any of the videos that we've created, and I have a couple, but my WebEx will only allow me to save a certain number of videos at a time. And so once I sent it out to TPI for them to upload to the YouTube channel, I tended to delete it from my WebEx so that I wouldn't have the issue of my WebEx being full. And so we don't have access to those videos right now. Hopefully we can get it back. But as of right now, our access has been denied. So you can take that, anyway. All right. But yes, today's video will be put under that YouTube link, and I will make sure I get that YouTube link to Kelly to put it on the website, and I'll also make sure I send it out so that you have that. Again, it's only going to have 1 or 2 videos in it right now, but we'll just build new if that's what we have to do. Other program updates, I know I need to hurry up because we have other things to talk about. Our new RFA info is coming soon. And actually, I have a slide on that in just a minute. But again, what else do we need to add? Oh, I'm sorry, that's on the website. So the website, the new RFA information will be on the website. That'll be added very soon. Oh, and another thing I skipped over, a newsletter spotlight form. So I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but I will say this. We don't plan to continue to send you out those weekly emails that we don't feel like most of you probably read anyway. I just feel like you got them so frequently that you tended to just say, tended to not necessarily read them. They had great information. They had a lot of information. A lot of that was my fault because I tend to be a wordy person. But we've decided instead that we're going to try out doing a monthly newsletter. And in that monthly newsletter, we will have program updates and things like that. But one of the things that we're going to have, and it's already on the website, is a spotlight, like an LEA spot, not LEA, sorry, a 21st Century Site spotlight or a staff spotlight, or it could be an event spotlight. And there is a place on the website for you to click on and submit anything that you feel like needs to be spotlighted for your 21st Century program, and we will try to incorporate those into those monthly newsletters. Give you guys a little kudos for all of the hard work that you do. But if you think, as Kelly already said, if you can think of other things that we need to add to the website that would be helpful, please let us know. All right. I'm sorry, I'm talking super fast, but I want us not keep you too long, and I want us to be able to share this great resource that we have for you today. So upcoming changes. This is that monthly newsletter. We also are going to do like a bi-weekly email, but it's just going to be reminders. It's going to be short and sweet, and just saying what's coming up to remind you. And these emails, probably the reminder emails and the monthly newsletter email that goes out will be sent by Nia Marshall, our ASA. So if you see any email come across from Nia Marshall at alsde.com, then that is what it is. So be on the lookout for those. She is going to do that for us. And then, of course, we also plan to post that monthly newsletter on the website so you can go and look at it anytime you want to and have it to refer back to, instead of having to go digging through your emails to try to find which email Amanda talked about, whatever update. Okay. So again, in that newsletter, we plan to do that spotlight, important reminders, program updates, training opportunities. What else would you guys like to see in the newsletter? So just let us know if you can think of any things that we need to add, then please just let us know about that. I know some things have popped up in the chat, and I'll look at those in a minute. I just want to get through this as fast as I can. Another super excited thing that I think you guys will be happy about is I'm in the process of meeting with our ALSDE IT people and Easy Reports to have an API created that will pull data from PowerSchool automatically. I met with our IT people yesterday, and I'm meeting with Easy Reports tomorrow. And our goals and what it sounds like this is going to look like is, once you've gone into PowerSchool and you've flagged a student as being 21st century, they will automatically be added to your Easy Reports. It'll automatically upload all that student's data, their ID number, all of that, so we don't have to worry anymore about you accidentally typing in something wrong or misspelling something or adding an extra zero or space where it isn't needed. And so we are in the process. It's been approved by Dr. Killingsworth to pay for it to be done. And so now it's just a matter of getting it built. And all you'll have to worry about is entering in your daily program attendance, setting up your activities and things like that, but it will take care of that data coming over. And we won't have to worry about data not matching up, which is what's going on with our outcomes right now, is that when they first uploaded the data into Easy Reports that was pulled from PowerSchool, hardly any of it matched up. All it takes, guys, is like an extra space after somebody's name to make it not match. And so the poor people at Easy Reports have been having to sort through this data and try to get things to match up, and they're still in the process of doing that. But that's one of the things I'm talking with them about tomorrow. And it may be that the data that's still left to be matched up, y'all, I may have to send it to you guys to try to make it match and put in, or I don't know. We're gonna try to troubleshoot tomorrow ways that we can get that data in there so that you have all of your student data entered. So stay tuned for that one. Hopefully this can be built this year. My only concern about it being done this year is if they do it, is it going to delete everything you've already done up to this point? If it can be done quickly, it's almost, to me, might be worth it to delete what you've done, like to make copies of your attendance and then put it back in, even if we have to help you put it back in somehow. But if it can't be done quickly, then it may be that we have to wait till next year to actually start this whole API process. But it would sure be nice if, if we could go ahead and get it set up and your data would be accurate and start being uploaded on a daily basis instead of once a year. So that would be great. Okay. What else? Okay, so another thing, we are going to be developing a new state 21st century evaluation plan. This is something that we are supposed to have in place that we don't necessarily have, not a written state evaluation plan. It's a federal requirement. As you know, or you may know, there's been a huge push from the feds for us, for all programs, all federal programs, to show growth in student achievement, and data collection and evaluation process is going to be, I really feel like it's going to make or break us, one or the other. And it's not something that I don't know. I feel like what we've done in the past, some of it's been really good, some of it not so great. I think it depends on your external evaluator, but I just feel like it needs to be completely revamped. So we are going to be looking at developing a statewide evaluation plan. I've been looking at other states to get ideas from them and the way they do it, but it will encompass the federal, state, and local evaluation. And one of our biggest goals is to look for ways to decrease redundancy and eliminate burden on you guys. And so, for example, if you do a parent survey through Easy Reports, then we'll make sure that that survey also counts for our state evaluation, your local evaluation. You're just going to do one parent survey during the year. You know what I mean? We make sure that asks all the questions that need to be asked and just be done once, instead of us asking you to do multiple surveys over and over and over again, making you collect the same information over and over again. And so that's our goal. We're also going to try to further develop our statewide goals and objectives. And it does say in the guidelines that your goals and objectives are supposed to align with the states. And so really looking at what that needs to look like. We kind of started in that process with the new cohort 26. There were certain goals and objectives that we gave to you that you had to use. And so that was kind of the mindset of doing that, but we just need to work on those. I know some of them are not very good. And so we'll be working on those and improving that as well. For cohort 26, I think cohort 2017, we're just going to leave like the evaluation process the way it's been in the past. But for 26, your external evaluators will have different expectations, especially in year one of the grant. Instead of necessarily focusing on creating a final report, they're going to be focusing on working with you to make sure that your evaluation plan is valuable. And what that means is, do you have goals that are actually measurable? Do you have a good plan? Are you doing what you said you were going to do in your RFA? Do you need to put activities in place that you don't currently have that you said you were going to do and that would lead to you meeting your goals really looking at you, looking at your plan with you, and making sure that that plan is very good and it's actually measurable, that you are actually collecting data that can show growth, and just really spending a year to develop that plan before pressuring you into doing all those other forms and reports and documents and things like that. So we're working on developing that right now, and have to have it ready in the next week or two so that we can go ahead and share that with your external evaluators. And that's the training that I think the program directors would benefit from going to as well. The rest of the years we will develop over the next year in collaboration with our partners, Troy University and USA. We'll develop we'll work on developing that plan. No, the external evaluation training it will be virtual like this one. Okay, I'm gonna address your questions in just a second. Almost last slide. All right, so just want to give you a little bit information about the Cohort 27 grant competition. Plan to start informational meetings in October. We're in October now, and we plan to do the RFA informational meeting on October 28th. But if you can't tell, we got a lot going on right this second, and so I'm a little nervous about whether that's actually going to be done, especially considering we're about to do a whole new evaluation plan, and that needs to be kind of thought out before the RFA is created so that it can be included in that RFA. And so that's what's kind of holding me up. I thought that the RFA was going to be easy this year because it was going to be basically the same as last year's, but it's going to have to look a little different. So that's the goal, October 28th. I just don't know. I have to sleep at some point. And I've already got my staff doing a ton of stuff too, or the team is doing a ton too. So we're doing the best we can, but it may have to be pushed back a little bit. The goal is to have the application due end of February. This year, it looks like we should have between 10 and 12.5 million to award. We are going to continue to base the funding off of the number of students served and the number of program hours, but we are going to cap the max this time at 350 to try to give more sites the opportunity to get the grant. And it's going to be a 4-year grant this time. I battled back and forth whether to make it 4 or 5 years, but I decided that I feel like it's going to be best for 26 and 27 to end at the same time so that we can have a big grant competition. And I don't want to go into all the details about that. I have my reasons for it. I feel like there's going to be smaller competitions between those times as we cut people's funding for not having the attendance that they're supposed to have and things like that. So so we just decided to go ahead and do it for 4 years. Any public or private entity may apply. And of course, you have to target schools that are eligible for Title I school-wide programs. All right, so let me address your questions. If you have any additional, I'm not going to take very long because I want to make sure that our vendor has time to talk to you guys and show their product because we were really impressed with it. Give me just 1 second. Yeah, so just Lindsay made this suggestion about the Google folder. That's definitely something that we're thinking about doing. So we may end up doing that. I'm glad everybody's happy about the changes. Starting today, moving forward. I'm not oh, Kelly, okay. Be able to reach out to the trainer from Easy Reports if we need assistance. Okay, so I think so. So in Easy Reports, I think there is a help button or something to that effect. So you are welcome to reach out to them. Go ahead.
Yeah, there is a support button with videos and all of that, but we received an email from Linda Dean about something we were trying to correct. And when we tried to get the appointment, of course, all of this happened, so we weren't able to get that. So we just got a few questions we need to ask.
Okay.
And I heard you say reach out to you all, and you all are trying to learn it, but we were just trying to fix it. So
yes.
If we can get his name and number, if he'll be okay. We just have a few questions based on her information that she said we need to fix.
Okay. If you'll, let me check and make sure they're okay with me giving them your number.
Okay,
I know that's like part of our contractual thing. I know that if they have like a help button, that's great. But again, if you'll just reach out to your specialist and send them what it is you're trying to do, then we'll if you can do it today, that'd be great. Because again, I'm meeting with them tomorrow, and maybe I can find out what the answer is tomorrow, or get you set up with somebody who can help you out if we're not able to do it.
Okay.
So
cool,
yeah,
cool.
if you'll do that, that'd be great. Okay, and the training's not gonna be in person. Okay, so those are all of our questions so far. If you think of anything else, then you can always put it into the chat, but I want to go ahead and I'm gonna stop sharing my screen. Oh, I skipped introducing our new person. So we have Susan Provost with us today from Age of Learning. I see her. Let me make sure that I can give you access, Susan. Hold on just one second. Find your name in here. Okay, so let me just go ahead and give the spiel that we at the ALSDE are not endorsing this product, but we were reached out to and looked at it and thought that it might be something that was helpful to you guys, especially those of you who maybe don't have or have a difficult time finding certified staff to help you with your math and reading. And so this program kind of addresses that. So I am going to turn it over to Susan.
Hello.
I think you should be able to share your screen now.
Okay.
I hope. I made you a co-host. Let's see.
Let's see. I'm going to share mine like you shared yours.
We can see it.
Undetermined. I'm not used to WebEx, so we'll see what happens here. Not sure I can see anything else now. Okay, so thank you all so much for a little bit of your time. I went through and hid a bunch of slides, so I'm just down to like 10 or so slides, and I'll go through them very quickly because I know your meeting has come to probably the end, and we just appreciate so much a little bit of your time. My name is Susan Provo. I currently am with Age of Learning. I'm about 27 years in my educational career, and I did spend many years in the Alabama various areas in Mobile County and in Limestone County. I saw somebody in there is from Limestone County, so I spent some time there. So I work for Age of Learning, and one of the reasons that we shared earlier is because we have been partnering with several 21st century learning, 21st century community learning programs in various states. I currently am sitting in the state of Florida, and we partnered with Palm Beach's 21st century program, and they did a big pilot in the spring. We looked at kindergarten through 5th grade students. Our programs do cover pre-K through 5th grade, but this specific program was K through 5, and we worked at about 19 different schools, mostly schools that students were falling behind on the state testing and that were scheduled to potentially be retained. And they implemented our programs mid-year. Super fun for kids. I'll share with you just a little bit about them. But all of the students in 3rd grade that were scheduled to be retained after participating in our programs actually passed 3rd grade, and they all went on to 4th grade this fall. So we're super excited about that. We've also partnered with the state of North Carolina. It started off as individual sites that were interested and showed interest, and then the state kind of picked it up, following some research studies on student learning outcomes. And we're also in progress of working with Arkansas. Sorry. Okay, so really quickly, what we do, most people have not heard of Age of Learning, but a lot of people have heard of ABC Mouse. And if you've heard of ABC Mouse, you know it's meant for little children in the homes. Really, really sweet program, really cute, really fun. The key is Age of Learning really knew what truly engaged children. And it's that game-based learning with just lots and lots of engagement, game-based, but instruction built within. So ABC Mouse was never meant to be used in school setting. It was really just to be used in the home for students or children to kind of stay engaged and, learn some ambient learning and things like that. What happened was a lot of schools said, hey, we're really interested in using that, and they gave it to schools, but it just doesn't match with what we're trying to do with students in schools. We've got, a scope and sequence and standards, and students need to master skills and move forward, and we scaffold and we keep on going. And with ABC Mouse, kids, it's just kind of going down the Alice in Wonderland rabbit hole and can kind of do whatever they want. So the company, reached deep and said, you know what, let's create something using the engaging concepts that we know are best children learn best by. Let's make something for schools. So we created 2 programs, my Reading Academy and my Math Academy. They are both web-based supplemental math and reading programs. They teach foundational skills, like I said, pre-K through 5th grade and content. What I think is kind of interesting is during the school day, and why it's really kind of rung a bell with 21st century programs, is during the school day, most children are doing another program. And they have done it for 1, 2, 3, 4 years, maybe 5 years. And so if they were to continue doing that same program after school, it's just kind of more of the same. And so a lot of 21st century programs have been very interested in this because of the way that we approach the learning. And so I'm going to share with just a little bit about that. So first of all, we are very efficacious. We have research studies that show that we are about twice as effective as any of the other programs that are out there that children are just kind of using day after day, year after year. We have about 30 efficacy studies now, urban, suburban, rural, young children, older children, students receiving special programs. So it's a variety of types of children. Just a really quick, this is, I think, like 30 seconds or something of some video, just to show you some of the graphics. So the company has truly embraced AI and really infused AI into the background to make sure that this program is always staying on the cusp of what these children are ready to learn. So I'm going to tell you just briefly about how our learning pathways are different from any other program, how there's just-in-time scaffolding built into it. So a teacher or a staff that's working with children, the only thing they really need to teach children how to do is to log in and to log out. Once the students are engaged in the program, it gives them everything that they need. There's peer-to-peer tutoring instruction that's built into it. And then there are some really great insights for the staff that's working with the children. It will script out lessons to do with them as a follow-up. There are reports that they could print out to give to classroom teachers. And then there's optional pieces for families to log in as well and continue working with their children. So how the program works is this first time that a student logs in, they're given a very brief game-based learning activity, placement activity. It's about 10 or 15 minutes. Once they finish that, they're placed right into their first game. And from that game, it's going to determine what happens next. So the AI working on the background is going to collect about 100 data points a minute and make shifts for the children every 3 to 4 minutes based on how they play within that game. Every click, every drag, every correct answer, every incorrect answer to determine what happens next for the children. So the goal is to get each child to mastery very quickly. And this next slide is not going to look right because I don't have the animations on it. But in the traditional programs that most of your children are doing during the school day, they begin the year, they have an assessment the first time they log in. Some of them are like an hour or 2 hours long. And based on that assessment, they're given a linear pathway of activities to do for months until they get to that second assessment period. And then they're given a second linear assignment pathway of activities to do until their end of year assessment. We know that children don't learn that way. The children learn more like this crazy line that goes all over the place. And with that traditional type of program, these little stars represent, there's only a few times during the year that the program might actually be meeting up with the child's needs at that given time. So in essence, the student has to follow the technology. And we recognize that children don't learn that way. We want the technology to follow the student. So in our programs, because of the technology working behind the student while they're playing games, here's a visual of 4 different students trying to master the same skill, but the completely different pathway that it's going to take for each child to ensure that each child gets personalized exactly what they need to get to that skill. So just a quick map, and what we do is we take all of the learning objectives and we map them out with the state standards for both math and reading. And so all of the learning objectives have games associated with it. They're instructional games, they're practicing games, they're games that just determine, do they know this? Have they mastered it? Can we move forward? In our math program, we follow the 5 strands of mathematical proficiency. With the younger children, they're going to see the platform facing with these younger graphics, and these are the shapies. They're the little characters and their learning buddies along the way. It's not just about teaching procedural fluency. It's also really working on conceptual understanding, productive disposition. In other words, I see myself as a mathematician. And then with our reading program, we are completely based on the science of reading, and we know that that's extremely important. Their program host in the reading program is an actual student, and so they've got these peer-to-peer models that really makes learning sticky for them. When learning is emotional, it becomes really sticky. So they learn the skills, and then they get to practice the skills through games, and they get to practice all of the skills in text sets. The teachers and the staff that are in the classroom, they don't have to assign any of this. It automatically goes for children, exactly what students have to do from log in to log out. Everything is completely done for them. If a teacher or a staff did want to assign a certain activity or a topic, because it goes along with what they're doing, that is potential for them to do that. So I also wanted to show you some of these videos or some of these visuals of what it looks like for some of the older students. So they have older peer-to-peer models for the older students. Last couple of things that I want to share for the teachers or the staff that are working with these children after school. We want the kids to do like a rotation and in centers or however you manage the after school program for 10 to 15 minutes for each program each time that they come in. The teacher and the staff will actually have access to a dashboard, which will show all of the students that they're working with. It will color code for them by learning objective and by state skill. They'll be able to click on the dashboard up here, a drop down to match with the Alabama standards. We'll show all of the standards here, all of the learning objectives underneath it, and color code students who have mastered those skills, students who are struggling with those skills. If they are struggling, they have a group support button that they can click on. And from there, it will actually create little crafted lesson plans that are scripted out for them to pull 2 or 3 children over at one time, to work on a skill with them, any kind of printouts or activities that they need to go along with that, it's done for them. So thinking about myself, I've taught first grade for a long time, and if I was in the after school program with 3rd and 4th graders or 4th and 5th graders, and it said, hey, work on compare and contrast of these 2 types of text, I'd be like, oh my gosh, I have no idea even where to start. So if this was scripted out for me of what to do and some sample texts of what to do with those children, it's really just such a great thing, especially for after school, because it reduces the planning time really down to nothing. They just log in, they click it, and it's all live in there. The last piece is you have the ability to optionally share this with families, so the children could continue logging in from home, continue playing the games. It just picks up right where they left off. But the families and caregivers also have a dashboard, so they can see exactly what their child is doing. celebrate their successes, work with them on their challenges, and there's little family-friendly activities that are written specifically for caregivers in the home to do with the children to continue their supports. So you can see in a why in Palm Beach this was such a success with these third graders that were slated to fall behind, because it quickly caught children up. They weren't stuck on a pathway that was stagnant. It really continually matched and changed every 3 to 4 minutes to get those kids up to mastery quickly. The teacher or the staff, and a lot of times they were school counselors, had a script on what to do with those children to help them. They had reports they could give to the classroom teachers, and then the families logged in as well and were supporting. So it really creates a full ecosystem of everybody around this child to help them. So just thank you so much for this time. I wanted to just kind of follow up with, again, the next generation learning pathways and these just-in-time scaffolds that are built in. Make it really easy to work in the classroom, get the kids caught up. It's fun for them. They have these peer models within the program that help them and that they're fun and engaging. And then these personalized resources for the teacher, the staff, the families, and it's just a ton of fun for the kids. So this is my last little screen. And I'm going to share my information too when they send a follow-up at the end of the meeting. But if you wanted to book 15 minutes with me, you can take a screenshot of this QR code, or you could type in my bit.ly address. It is case sensitive, so if the capital S on Susan needs to be capital, it will take you to my booking calendar. If you book 15 minutes with me and we meet together, you'll get to choose a gift card of your choice afterwards, because I just want to reimburse you for your time. And you'll get to learn a little bit more about the program and see if you qualify for it, see if it's a good match, and also help children soar. So thank you so much for this time. I'm super happy to answer questions. I'm going to stop sharing, but I try to make this go really quickly because I know you guys have had a long day and just really appreciate you.
All right, does anyone have any questions for Susan?
Is it total screen time, the time that they're there, or is it built in with some assistance from, and you may have said it, I don't know if I missed that or not.
So our goal is for children to log in for 10 to 15 minutes each session, each time that they engage with the program. And they have a reading and math, so it would be 10 to 15 in
Both.
each. Depending on your program, like how we like work with you to figure out the best way to structure it. Some people just do reading or just do math. Some do both.
Mm-hmm.
Some do both and do an A/B pattern. So they'll do reading one day, math the next day. So it just really depends on your program, and we consult with you on that. So that would be the time on screen.
Okay.
We try to keep it very minimal. We don't want children. We do like to meet with you and say, hey, like your kids have been on it for 400 minutes this week. That's really not what we're going for. We want it to be minimal amount of time, because the program is built to work very quickly for students to get them closer to grade level.
What is the average cost per student?
So the average cost per student, the company runs on an annual subscription model, but we know that you are not an annual subscription program. And so we work with you to accommodate for what would be appropriate for your time frame. So it's kind of challenging because it depends on what the proration would be and how many children and things like that. But we work to accommodate your budget. But like on an annual basis, it's $45 a student per program. But again, we like to work with you and make sure that we can, accommodate your goals and your budget.
Does it have a pre and post test available? So you can kind of track their growth?
The students don't have, so they have the placement activity at the beginning, and there's not pre and post test data, but we do have growth reports, and we teach you how to use those and how to read those. You'll be able to see a group of students, and it's kind of fun because you'll see color coded, how many children started on, above, whatever grade level, and you'll be able to see the colored line that you don't want shrink, and other ones getting bigger, the ones that butt closer to grade level. So across the course of the year, you'll be able to see the difference between the group placement and current progress, and then you'll be able to see growth reports by the individual student as well.
Okay, I was just wondering as an evaluator if we could pull the data for it to go into our reports. Thank you so much for your help.
Yeah, and I can connect you as well with NCP, the North Carolina, and then Palm Beach on what kind of measures that they're pulling for their reports, because we do know that the progress monitoring pieces are different for 21st century programs than normal like day programs when people purchase programming.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, anyone else? Well, thank you, Susan, for joining us and sharing your product. I'm excited to see if anyone takes advantage of it and see what the results are from it and go from there. But thank you so much.
Thank you.
Can you drop
And-
your email address in the chat so that we could reach out to you directly?
Yes.
Perfect. Anyone have any questions about, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say I'll also share it with Amanda so she can send that information in the follow-up.
And do you know about ACEA, our upcoming conference? We're still accepting exhibitors and vendors if you might be interested in joining us for our after-school conference from the state of Alabama. So
I did take that link down and started digging into it during the first part of the meeting. So I'm going to see what I can do. I'm not sure about my calendar, but I'm going to do my best.
well, I'll email you some information about that as well. Thanks.
That'd be great. Thank you so much.
Does anyone have any other questions for either Susan or myself before we end today? I'm sorry we went over a little bit, but I had a lot of information I wanted to share with you. Okay. Well, we will be sure to send this recording to everyone and post it on the YouTube channel and get that up on the website, but we'll make sure that we send everything out to you guys that you need. And again, reach out to your specialist if you have any questions, and if they don't know, then we'll figure it out and get the answers back to you guys. And again, if you just during this time of transition, give us some grace. We really, really, truly appreciate it. And any ideas that you have that we can, ways that we can make things less burdensome on you, please make sure you share that information with us and let us know. All right. Thank you guys, and have a great rest of your week and a good weekend. Thank you so much.